Hello, 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 everyone. What is going on? Yep, sorry we're late. This is the latest we've started a podcast. But yeah, it's James here and the one, the only, the Liam.
Hello there.
But yeah, actually, no, tell a lie. I actually have done a podcast later than this. During lockdown in 2020, I kept trying to get King John Brick on the podcast. And he was always so busy. Every Saturday, he was like, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And I'm like, things I don't usually hassle guests, I never do, but because he'd been on other podcasts and he sort of was trying to grow Club Brick at the time, I sort of thought that I cared a lot more about growing the podcast back then. Now I don't really give a shit, to be honest. I just like doing them, and whatever happens, happens. I could get a million subs, could get one sub, who knows. But thing is, I kept banging on to him because like I just wanted him to come on, just because I thought, because he was trying to grow his channel, he knows about like he realizes it's all business, it's nothing personal. I'm not personally trying to get him on. It's like I would just want him to come on. So I thought he gets it, if that makes sense, in some weird way. So I just kept asking him to come on, and then one Wednesday, he was like, and I had barely any sleep the night before, but like he was like, I can do it, I can do it. I don't know why I'm doing a phone symbol. It was over message. But yeah, he was like, I can do the podcast now. It was like bloody 11:15 at night, and I was like, yeah, I'm game as fuck. Let's go. We did it from like 11 till 12:30 at night. So yeah, that was the latest one I'd done. But this is probably like probably the second latest, maybe. I think one of the podcasts I did with Molly Boy, that was pretty late. I think that might have been 9, but that was a weekend, not a weekday. I've got to be up early. Look at these bags. The bags on my eyes. Well, they're not too bad now, but a few days ago I looked like, I don't know, I just looked like I had no sleep. But have you got to get up tomorrow, Liam, or are you having a nice rest?
Yeah, but I can have a bit of a lie-in because I'm not in till 12. So
Okay. So you've still got to prepare yourself for a graft, but you're not in till
yeah,
12. So
yeah.
it could be worse.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as you can tell, everybody, Liam has moved out of his town, and now he's living in the posh part of London, and he's made millions off of his gaming channel. Well, actually, no, you wouldn't be moving to London, would you? God, that wouldn't be your style. Move
Maybe
to
not.
the nicest part of the West Midlands, and he's living the high life in his mansion.
No, I was going to say Talibont.
Oh yeah. That's a good reference to one of the old podcasts about
Yeah.
random ones, because I was like, would you
I didn't think
rather
of that. Yeah.
live in London or live in Taliban? Like, which is basically asking, would you rather live in the most, like, the central London, the busiest part of the UK with most shit going on, or Taliban, like one of the most quietest parts of the UK?
Mm-hmm.
And you were like Taliban, which I was quite surprised. And Aaron said Taliban as well, but George said London. And I was really surprised. I was the most surprised with that. I'm thinking, George, you'd rather live in London?
Mm.
There's some certain aspects which make sense, because he likes having a million collector shops around and loads of events going on. But I'm really baffled. And obviously, I don't think I asked Ben, or I might have done, but I might have asked him then and said, "Oh well, Ben, you'd say yes, of course, London," and I probably didn't let him answer because I was so certain
I
that
don't
he
know
would
whether
have
he's
said.
on that podcast. To be fair.
Oh, okay. I'll have to ask him when the Christmas special rolls around and what he rather.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess. I'm
Might as well
gonna
for a
guess
laugh. Yeah.
London. Would you guess London as well for him? I'm confident he's gonna
Yeah.
go for London.
I'd have thought so. I
Knowing
think.
him and how he is, I really think he'd go for London. I think he'd be like, "Yes, I love it here."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's up with this new attire then, Liam? This doesn't look like your room or your parents' room. What's going on?
No, it is the same room. It's just I'm just basically sat on the bed instead. rather than on a
Oh,
chair.
okay.
Yeah.
Looks quite snazzy, man. Looks quite snazzy and big. Fair play.
Yes. Thank
Well,
you.
on the other one, well, when it's at another angle, it looks a lot small. Well, like there's a lot of stuff in there, like clothes and all that. But yeah,
Yeah.
snazzy. Fair
Yeah.
play.
Mm.
But yeah, we might as well get on with this then. Tales of the Jedi. Well, I can't
Mm-hmm.
remember the opening. I think it wasn't there just a noise and then the title card of Tales of the Jedi, and that was the opening.
I don't know. Might have been. I don't know whether there was a bit of music or not. I can't remember, to be fair. Yeah, it might. Yeah, it might just been a sound effect, actually, like you said. Yeah, some sort of sound effect. Yeah, yeah. Don't know for sure.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so we are. Well, I don't even know why I did that. Then I guess I'm just
yeah.
on a mad one. Oh, yeah,
Mm.
wait. Before we get into Tales of the Jedi, what did you think when I terrorised your chat the other day? When I was just saying about Gloria's big arse and
Oh, it's
big
nothing new,
booty,
is it? You do it all the time. You
big
do it
booty
all the time.
pajama ladies bouncing around
No,
and
it's
going on about Barclays Bank and bombarding the precursors. No, bombarding the precursors. And Master Chief farting and
yeah.
going around in your birthday suit on pajama day.
No, it's the usual gibberish
What you mean? Use your philosophy and wisdom. Thank you.
from a certain point of view.
Oh yeah. You know, I actually tripped out once at work, complete like. But when I say tripped out, I don't mean I've been on drugs or anything. I just mean like I'm really out of it. And I thought that this little picture of someone that looked like someone at work, and then because it says who they report to like below on Microsoft Teams,
Mm.
and in my head when I was looking at it, I thought it was the man. Basically, the picture was a picture I thought was of them, but it was like of a sad, funny face like this that just looked very similar to them. Then I thought in my head it was the manager having a go at them, and they were really annoyed, like upset about it. I was
Mm.
just like, because I was around the corner on my own, like because at the time we was like helping out new trainees, me and the other apprentices, and I was like the first one there, so I was just completely out of it. And it's just like really weird. It's just like really odd. But yeah, I guess that's what a bit of tiredness and stress does to you.
Mm.
Funny though.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, so what were you impressed with the bombarding the precursor? Bombard.
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah. Bombarding. Yeah.
Oh, that was the most. I was just in such a high mood. I just couldn't help myself. That was the most I've laughed my arse off at the street.
Yeah. I was gonna say actually though, did you laugh? Did you laugh when you said about the? Well, I can say it, can't I? Because you said it on the stream chat. You know when you said dancing and laughing around the room. Did you laugh when I said that or not?
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah,
Yeah, I was just wondering. Yeah, 'cause I was
yeah, that
hoping
was
to get a
quite.
reaction from you in
I
the chat
really, I
when I
really
said it
like that.
like
To be
that. But
fair, yeah, that was quite funny.
yeah,
I just love
yeah.
I love how you actually read out when I put big booty ladies at pajama day at work bouncing around. I'm thinking, God, Liam actually read it out. To be fair, I don't think. I think people know I'm just clowning and I'm not for real. Like, I mean,
Mm,
obviously, my preference. I do enjoy seeing big booty ladies bouncing around in pajamas, but like, I'm not, looking like that and like a madman.
mm,
So I was thinking, damn, if someone from work sees this, bloody hell, they're gonna be like, oh, James, what a degenerate slob. But I think they know that I'm clowning and messing around. I'm not looking at ladies' asses like that. That'd be ridiculous. That'd be nonsensical.
mm.
But
Yeah.
but I love how you're not agreeing or disagreeing. Like you think I'm gonna be at work going like this. God.
Well, I'm just listening. I'm just listening to what
Uh,
you're saying. I'm just yeah,
sorry, I thought you were just like, hmm,
yeah. I was just listening. Yeah, yeah.
hmm.
Mm, yeah.
Can you
Wondering
do
whether
the
you're
rock
telling the
eyebrow?
truth.
Oh, Liam firing shots there.
Mm,
Can you do the rock eyebrow raise? Oh, not too
mm.
bad. Pretty solid, yeah.
Well, it's not.
Thing is, I've done it a few times to people, and people have been like, "Mate, that isn't that isn't." They said to me, "That's not how you do it,"
Mm,
because it's really hard to do. But like with the rock, he has one eye open and then sort of like, I can't do it. Basically, I have to close one eye like this and lift the other one up to like properly do it. And they're like, "Mate, he doesn't have one eye closed. He has one eye open and then raises the other eyebrow. That's what's so impressive about it." I think you are
dunno. Mm,
looking, and there's nothing wrong. No, but George, come on. If someone was looking, whatever your preference is, you know, whether it's a bloke looking at a woman's arse or a bloke looking at another bloke's arse, or a woman looking at another woman's arse. Like, if you're going like this with binoculars, you're going to get sacked. I'm not doing that. I have
You
respect.
sure?
Oh, I have respect for my work colleagues, but the thing is, I love how most of the things I want you to read out, you never read out. But then the pajama day thing, I was like, oh god, I don't. I said, oh, will Liam read that out? I sort of hope he doesn't. Then he's like, big booty ladies pajama day at work. I'm like, oh well, it's out there, it's out there, it's out there. Who cares, you know?
Nah, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal.
Yeah. Thing is, it's not like I'm saying anything ridiculous or outlandish or mental, am I? You know.
Nah, no.
People say far worse in Instagram comment sections. I'm just clowning and messing around. Well, they're just bloody. There's some just degenerate slobs on Instagram, and I'm thinking, God, you need to become a bloody porn star to just get your urges out there, for God's sake, or
Yeah.
calm down. You know, God, like some of these people commenting on Instagram things, they need to really calm their tits, man.
Yeah. I do.
Tales of the Jedi, Revenge of the Jedi. Yep. Anyway, let's just go into so. But so you're not too impressed then with my millions of messages then flooding the chat and going on about madness.
Well, some of it.
Yeah. The thing is, I just say what comes to me. You know, if it's something like absolutely mad, I just say. But like, there's been a lot of your streams where I've just been quite sensible and been like, oh, what do you think of this, Liam? What do you think of this?
Yeah.
Is this all right, Liam? So it just varies. Usually, it's a mixture of it's like hello, Liam, and then well, I don't even know why I did my impression of you for my voice, but hello, Liam. Yes, no, and bloody silliness, and then I ask a few serious questions, and then I go on quite a mad one for a bit and go on about
Yeah.
ruptured anal flaps and silly
Oh, God,
sausages and
absolute bonkers.
and then the madness tones down a bit. I'm like a few mad things which I think Liam will read this out, won't he? And then a couple of calm things. I'm like, all right, Liam, see you later. Have a good one, pal. A good stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it's
Gonna
quite the ride, isn't it? It's quite the ride.
I mean, you're honestly just me in your chat is probably better than every single Twitch streamer's chat combined times 10. But I think we know why George hasn't been employed for 3 years. George, you spelled. I mean, you spelt theirs wrong, but that doesn't matter. But at the spray painting place, George was just looking at people like that. God. Now we know why he hasn't been in work for 3 years, but or nearly 3 years. Anyway, enough of the pleasantries. Let's get into Tales of the Jedi then. So yeah, and honestly, I just want to give a bit of an intro to this. There probably won't be loads to say about it because it's such a short series, but I do like how we are getting shorts out there now, and it's done in Clone Wars animated style, set in the prequel era. In addition, it's animated. So the thing is, a lot of adults, you know, old people, my granddad on my mum's side, I tried to say to him, watch The Simpsons, and he's like, no, James, I ain't watching that. It's just silliness. It's just silliness. Oh, it's animated. I don't like that. It's just for the kids, ain't it? And, you know, one of my great aunts on my dad's side, she said to me, no, I don't like The Simpsons. No, rubbish, it's animated. Anything animated? No. I mean, some of my grandparents, one of my grandparents on my dad's side, he loves he enjoys the old Simpsons episodes, but like the point is, a lot of people, I feel like over 40, typically can't really get into things if they're animated. I tried to tell my dad, like, get into the Bad Batch. It's brilliant. I love it. Watch the end of Clone Wars, Siege of Mandalore. Amazing, bellissimo, 10 out of 10. And because it's animated, he ain't really that bothered. But I feel like when it comes to something like Tales of the Jedi, it can get adults in their 30s and 40s into the animation because it's like well, you can say to them, well, they're only 6 minutes long. Give it a chance. It's not like you have to commit to like hours upon hours upon hours. It's just they're all like 6 minutes, well, 8 to 15 minutes long, let's say, or 20 minutes or whatever. They're not. I knew. Thing is, I knew this was going to happen. I didn't want to get this up. Then I saw the next comment. I actually got on a job today. I thought this isn't true. This cannot be true. And then it's obviously a joke. Officer of nerd, please. Oh, well, then leave then, George. What are you doing here then? What are you doing here? The nerd, please. George, I'm a bona fide geek, and Liam's also a geek. We're not nerds. Nerds are like bloody bookworms. Geeks are like cool, into all the... Because the thing is, I'm not trying to go off on a mad tangent, but I feel like a lot of people are not really interested in most things. It's just like, oh, the football or stuff that's going on Instagram. Well, being into Star Wars and Futurama, I think that absolutely fucking rocks, man. I think that's legendary,
Mm-hmm.
And there's some people who I've known in the past, who I've worked with. When I've tried to talk like geeky stuff with them, it's just been like nonsensical takes, or like they've been. I remember I talked with two people about Harry Potter once at a place I worked before, and it was like they were talking gibberish. Their takes were so rubbish. It was like they were going on about all the books and how Hermione was better in the books, and how everyone was rubbish in the films but amazing in the books, and how this character's all the characters are actually bad. And it's just like, God, I just want to talk about some films. I don't care about bloody the arse hair that J.K. Rowling plucked one time and then slapped it into the book. I'm not bothered. God, boring. And it's just gibberish. But no, I'm a bona fide geek, and I'd say Liam's a bona fide geek as well. Not a nerd. A nerd is like a bookworm, which there's nothing wrong with being a bookworm, but it's less cool in certain ways. But yeah, with the thing is, with the animations being short, it's easy to convince people, not just adults, but people in general, not just like 30 to 40-year-old people, but people in general, to get into it and just make the time and make the effort because it's so short. And also, when I finished Andor, I was like, damn, thank goodness they're short. This is brilliant, man. Great. And a part of me was thinking, it's going to be one little story about each Jedi every episode. But there's actually 3 about Ahsoka and 3 about Dooku, and I was thinking, yes! I was so happy with that as well. Oh, for God's sake. I'm on patrol, James. You're Have you lost your mind, George? You spent too much time wanking off 7 times a day. I mean, what are you on about, weeb? I don't like anime. I'm not a bloody anime fan. For God's sake. I'm not. Oh, hold on. I've just looked at weeb just to be sure. Obsessed. I mean, I do love Japan. I don't like how they work people to death, but I do like how, they're harsh on crime. They don't take any rubbish off anyone. They're pro Japan, patriotic. I like that, but they just work people to death, which isn't very good. Too much hard work and all that, So I do like Japan, but I'm not obsessed with it. And if a weeb is the same as a weeaboo, George, I haven't watched anime for about 1 billion years, bro. I mean, you're stuck in 2019. I like anime. Like the last one I watched was My Hero Academia, properly, and I watched that bloody. Remember, George, me, you, and Cranky Lanky, the Barnacle, went to watch that My Hero film in early 2020 before COVID went big and went crazy. But there's nothing wrong with anime. I just haven't got round to watching any for ages, to be honest. But I wouldn't sound more weeb, George. I know more about games, films, telly, and combat than I do anime. I barely know anything about bloody anime. But yeah, what's your overview of the show then, Liam? So far, just general overview.
Yeah. So, what, like my opinion, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, I think it's a great show. I do like it as well. They're sort of shorts as well, so they're a bit shorter, but all the episodes are still at least like 10 minutes long, aren't they, or whatever, like 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, I think it's really enjoyed the show, and I do also like how it's about Ahsoka and Dooku, like Ahsoka being a fan favorite character from the Clone Wars. So there's that link, and just Dooku as well, who, like, I think, he's an interesting character, and it's good to find out more about his backstory in canon as well, and just make you appreciate the character more and why he Turn to the dark side.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, so let's get into the episodes then. First episode about Ahsoka being born, I was like, it's just going to be about bloody Ahsoka getting taken away and all this jazz. But it's all very slow paced anyway. Ahsoka's mom takes her out hunting. She's like, oof, we've circle life, we got to kill, haven't we? But don't take more than you need. Which, yeah, I guess is a good moral for anything. If you're buying food, don't buy more food than you need. Let someone else buy it. So, yeah. Yeah, but a weeb is like for anime and Japanese culture. George, I have some of the best hygiene ever, man. I have some of the best hygiene ever. I'm genuinely Captain Clean when it comes to hygiene, bro. Like, to another level. I mean, if I get away with showing how clean my arse is on the podcast, I would. Just to prove that I'm supreme clean Captain Hygiene. So, yeah. But obviously, I don't want to get the channel banned. I don't want to give in to your demented fantasies as well. So, I'll just show it to Liam after the podcast is over and he can give an objective take with his monocle. So, yeah. And he can let you know that I am Captain Clean, Meme Supreme. But yeah, yeah, weeaboos do stink though, because when we went to, was you with us when we went to watch Dragon Ball Super Broly in 2019?
No. I came to the pub after, didn't I?
Oh, sick! What a lad! I totally forgot. What made you come to the pub afterwards and not come and watch Dragon Ball?
I just wasn't interested in the film. I wasn't interested in seeing the film, but I thought
Yeah,
I'd go to the pub to see you all after.
that's really generous, man. That's legend move. That's a legend move right there. I totally forgot that you came to the pub afterwards and that you weren't there originally at the Broly. But to be honest, I won't lie to you, it's probably the most packed I'd ever seen in a cinema that wasn't for like a Star Wars or Marvel film, to be honest, which is quite impressive. But the place did fucking stink. Like
Did
my
it?
sense of
Oh,
smell's horrendous, but I can barely smell most bad things. Like, but genuinely, it did reek of a bit of sweat, to be honest. So my point is, I'm not a weeb. You have to be a stinky bastard to be a weeb, and I don't smell. I mean, George did try and accuse me of having a sour milk smell. But I always urge people to tell me if I do stink, and no
he
one has
accused
said
you
that.
of what? It froze for me. Sorry.
A sour milk smell.
Okay.
I mean,
Uh,
Liam, when I've sat by you, have you ever smelt sour milk?
no, I don't think so.
Ah, okay, that's good then. There is Star Wars anime. Yeah, I know we watched the bloody what's that show called?
Visions.
Ah, yeah, Star Wars Visions. That I guess
Mm.
yeah, but just because I've watched one Star Wars anime it doesn't make me a massive weeb. That's like saying because you watch Horton Hears a Who and they made an anime in the middle of Horton Hears a Who that you're a weeb for having to watch that scene where Horton's running around as an anime elephant for some odd reason. You know, yeah. Anyway, so the big ass saber-toothed tiger comes for Ahsoka's mom. The action's quite good for a kid show. Um, the tiger, instead of chowing down on Ahsoka, he just takes her off and runs off with her. And then, which you can't have Ahsoka eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. That wouldn't make any sense.
No.
Then he plops her in a cave, and she slaps her hand on his nose and uses the force on him. Then he takes her home, and then they're not Twi'leks Ahsoka species. I can't remember what they're
No,
called.
they're tog rooters.
Ah, okay, quality knowledge. So the Tog rooters, they because the Twi'leks are the Aida Sakura ones, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're called Tog rooters.
Yeah.
Cool. So basically, the Tog rooters, they're like the old ones, like, mate, she's a Jedi, and the parents are like, all right then. And then that's the end of the episode. I haven't really got much to say, to be honest, about it. It was just a bit of I'd say it was average overall, because I guess it was nice to see Ahsoka as a baby and the village, how they've got droids and everything, so they're not like the Ewoks who are just completely like, you know, in the past and not up to date with the future. Ahsoka's people, they choose to live. They're basically like Amish. They choose to live like that pretty much, from what I gathered anyway. So, and you got to respect how they're trying to distance themselves from all the galaxy stuff. Even though Ahsoka gets involved with all the galaxy's jazz because, Plo Koon picks her up and the rest is history. Did she eat the eye of the... Well, I mean, if she'd done that, the saber-toothed tiger would have ripped her to shreds if she tried to do that, George. I mean, wouldn't you if someone tried to eat your eye while you're alive? You'd kill them. Well, you'd stop them from doing it. You wouldn't kill her. You just punch them in the face. I mean, you'd have to be a next-level psychopath. But, overall, the episode was average. Your thoughts, Liam?
Yeah, I thought it was like maybe an okay episode. Yeah, like you say, kind of a bit slow and yeah, I suppose the story is just not as interesting, like but I guess it showed that that they sort of knew, or a family sort of found out about the fact that she has can use the Force, and about I guess about the Jedi sort of taking her away as well, and I guess it was cool how she used I think it's beast control or whatever on the tiger. Yeah, I mean the animation was top notch as it has been with the more recent shows, but other than that, not the most interesting. Yeah, so in terms of story, so sort of like I said, an okay episode.
Yeah, for sure. So the next one is Justice with Count Dooku. Oh, I know, that didn't sound like that.
I was going to say, were you trying to be Sean Connery or something?
I didn't know where that came from. I've got to try and work on my Count Dooku impression. I've been looking forward to this. There we go. So he's Justice.
No, he's not Scottish.
I've been looking forward to this. So he's like Justice. He's basically him and this little weird old-looking version of Justin Bieber. I know it's Qui-Gon Jinn before you correct me.
Yeah,
I know it's Qui-Gon. But why does he go from having an England accent to bloody an Irish accent?
I know. I think apparently, I could be wrong, but I remember reading. I think it's Liam Neeson's son playing young Qui-Gon, but yeah, he just doesn't sound like him, does he?
It makes zero sense. I know it wouldn't make it's cool that they got Liam Neeson's son to play, but at least put an Irish accent on. Why would someone's accent go from like being English to Irish? It makes zero sense. It's like Luke going from bloody being American in A New Hope to being Scottish in The Empire Strikes Back. Luke, I am your father. No, that's impossible. No, it wouldn't make any. You'd just be like, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the, I guess, problems I had with the show. Like, it's just those like inconsistencies. Yeah, I don't know. And there's things like that across Star Wars, between certain projects. But yeah, I don't know. Didn't understand that, but
yeah. But anyway, as Count Dooku says, we're keepers of the peace and all that jazz. So they roll up to the planet, and he's like, straight away, Dooku rolls into the bar, and they're like, oh, what do you want? And then he whips out his lightsaber and puts it on the table, and he's like, man, what a gangster. He's not keeping the peace. He's laying down the fucking law, which he was really cool too. It's refreshing to see a Jedi who doesn't just sit there and is like, I am keeper of the peace. Instead, he's like, well, we're going to get this sorted, aren't we? Which is pretty gangster and cool. And Qui-Gon's just sort of standing about, and they're like, look, at the end of the day, we kidnapped this senator's son because look around you. This is a crap state of affairs, isn't it? This is a bloody rubbish place to be. Desolate wasteland while the senator's out there enjoying himself. So you understand where those villagers are coming from. They're pissed off that the senator has neglected them. And at the end of the day, the only way they get any attention is by kidnapping his son. Because I'm guessing they tried to ask for help loads of times. It does seem weird, though, how they've got like barely any money or anything, yet they somehow kidnapped his son. Like, what? Like, I'm sorry, take Rishi Sunak as the PM. If he's got kids, how would anyone get near his kids and kidnap them? And if they did, he'd get the army in on them. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how did they, especially people with no money or any resources, how did they kidnap this senator's son? I mean, Coruscant's armed to the teeth as being the capital of the galaxy. How did they pull that off? Weird. But the son even agrees with them, which shows, even he's like, Dad, you fucked up. And then I like the designs from the big hats and, how they look very posh and whatever. And he's like, the dad is like, give me back my son. And then they're like, nah, man, give us some money. And Dooku, then again, he's coming forward and he's strangling him. And he's like, because Dooku's had enough. And I sort of don't blame him because like they whip their guns out and they kill some of the villagers. They shoot the villagers. It's like, bro, I'm not being funny. Why would Qui-Gon try to calm shit down? Like, they've already drawn first blood. Like, to be fair, I think Dooku would get sacked from the Jedi Order and probably have a bounty on his head if he did kill the senator. But I wouldn't blame him because they're being horrible,
Yeah. Yeah. No, you can see where it's coming from, yeah.
Did she eat the eye of the tiger? She could have played the song instead. I mean, yeah, she would have struggled to as a baby, but that was Sean Connery, Sonnery, not Sean Connery. Yes, well, let's move on to the next episode. I'd say the last episode was good. It showed you about Count Dooku's past, and it's before he grew a mustache, so very good. But yeah, so overall, it was good. I was really glad to see young Count Dooku and see what's going on with him. Then we move on to choices. Oh, what do you think of Justice? Do you think it was good, bad, naff, average?
Yeah, I'd say it was. Yeah, I'd say it was good. Yeah, it's to see more Dooku and the relationship between him and Qui-Gon, and yeah, just how he handled that situation as well. I suppose just sort of foreshadowing his turn to the dark side. So yeah, I'd say good episode.
Yeah. So we move on to choices. Jedi Masters, Dooku and Mace Windu. Look into this death of this Jedi. And Mace Windu, he's like, bro, we just need to like follow the Council's orders, chill out. And Dooku's like, no, there's some fishy shit going on, so I'm going to figure it out. And Dooku keeps pressing and keeps asking questions, and the Senator's very bloody suspicious. He's like, he's acting very suspicious. He's really panicked and agitated. And Mace is like, bro, we've got to go back to the Council. But Dooku, instead of listening to the Council, he goes off of instinct. He thinks something really fishy is happening here. And, my coat's bothering me. I'm just going to take it down. He just bothers me with his coat in the background, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Big ass
Oh
coat.
yeah, it was. I think was it the last podcast I was in. I thought it was a shadow.
Yeah, I'm going to keep taking it down from now on, whenever the podcast starts. But yeah, so, he goes off of instinct and he cares about his Jedi Master. And at the end of the day, in the Jedi Order, they're like, bro, you can't show any care or compassion. You've got to be emotionless. But Dooku, he actually is showing care. He's showing care that he's fed up that shit is going wrong. Like, Jedi are meant to be keepers of the peace, but they're serving a corrupt Senate. But Mace Windu's like, oh, follow the orders. Anyway, because thing is, if they had flew back to the Council, those people who killed the Jedi Master, they could have easily like got together and covered up more evidence. But anyway, so when Dooku gets back, well, basically Dooku was right, his hunch was right. They kill a lot of the guards and what have you. And the one guard talks to Dooku and he's like, I get where you're coming from, but I don't agree with your methods. Even though Dooku's methods are very similar. And yeah, we see him slowly slipping toward being a separatist yet again. And what's funny is Dooku does the right thing and in my opinion, the right thing and brings the bad people to justice. Yet Mace Windu is the one who gets the reward for basically just following the Council's orders, and he becomes a councilman for that Master's seat. It just seems a bit like, what? Dooku brought some bad people to justice. Mace wanted to just abandon it off the council's orders. I mean, I get it because the council are just odd. The Jedi Council are just weird, so they'd rather reward people for just following the Jedi code rather than trying to do the right thing. So Dooku probably felt a bit fobbed off by that. I can't blame him.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, and it kind of, I know there's certain Star Wars projects, I suppose, that make you add a bit more automation. Oh, wait, 1 minute. Bear with me a sec. I need to just wipe my nose. 1 sec. Sorry.
No problem, big man.
Yeah, I'm back. My nose just started running. Yeah, I thought it was interesting because in certain Star Wars projects, with Mace Windu in as well, or well, in the Clone Wars anyway, like it adds more to his character, and he's sort of, I suppose, like you sort of seen in the prequel films, he sort of comes across like, well, yeah, one of these Jedi who sort of, you know, blinded by the war um. And of course, in episode 2, he said, didn't he, we're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. But they end up, they end up contradicting that statement and like becoming soldiers as a
Well,
result of the clone.
they become more than soldiers. They become generals, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
And like he in that scene with Dooku and Mace Windu, and the fact that Mace got a seat on the council, um, and yeah, didn't Mace he did something quite like didn't he like grass Dooku up or something like that? I don't. I'm trying to
I'm not
remember. I don't know.
sure.
He did something which was a bit like, I don't know. It was a bit like, well, wasn't
He just says on here for
good of him.
the description, after the attackers are subdued, Dooku is passed over as a member of the High Council in favour of Windu as the. Oh, okay, so does not condone his aggressive methods. So someone grassed him up, definitely. Not sure it was, but someone must have grassed him up.
I feel like it was Mace, and it's just like, I don't know. I mean, even though Mace is a cool character, like his way of thinking now, and like, and the sort of Jedi he is, it makes you sort of kind of dislike him a bit,
Yeah,
and
like why would
he
you
comes
rat out
across
your
as a bit.
boy?
Yeah, he comes across as a bit of an arse, really.
Yeah, I mean, you never
So
rat out your boy, would you? You wouldn't rat out your
no,
friends.
yeah,
I mean, if Mace, the thing is, if Mace didn't want any part of it, if he truly believed that, he should have said, Dooku, you're on your own, then I'm going back to the ship. So Mace is also responsible because he actually went with Dooku and did all that shit. You know, he should have just said,
mm,
I'm waiting in the ship for you then if you're going to do this.
mm.
But instead, he goes with him, so he's a bit of a hypocrite. But yeah, good episode, another good episode. On to the Sith Lord.
Yeah,
So
it
we
was a
get
good episode.
Qui-Gon Jinn coming back, which is cool. And then Dooku, man, he's like, God, Qui-Gon's dead. And he goes to visit the tree that Qui-Gon loved when he was a kid. Because the Jedis, they don't know how much, do they? But Qui-Gon loved visiting this tree. You know, Coruscant, it's so devoid of, like, any nature. So you can understand why a kid would be impressed by a tree. And he goes there, and it shows that he did care about Qui-Gon quite a lot. And then rolls up to Palpatine, and Palpatine's like, well, we both lost apprentices, didn't we? And you're thinking, damn, Palpatine doesn't give a fuck, does he? He doesn't care? What a cold bellend! What an absolute...
He doesn't like. He's just pure evil, though. He
What a
just doesn't
buffoon.
give a damn
No
about anyone.
care. No care at all. No care. But yeah, and then yaddle, yaddle, yaddle. Liam's favourite character, Yaddle.
I mean, when you on about that in my stream as well? I don't know. I can't remember. Like, I
I
don't
think if
know.
it's something like Yaddle's your type, or
Some bonkers like that, yeah. Absolute.
oh. I wish I could see you face to face more, Liam. I think if me, you, and the rest of the squad go on a Christmas session, I've got to wind you up with some of this bloody madness. Do you like Yaddle, Liam? No, I wouldn't. To be fair,
Ridiculousness.
And you got to admit, apart from the teeth, she's not too bad, is she? For a 900-year-old woman, she's not that bad, is she?
Oh, we don't know how old she is, do we? I don't think she's as old as Yoda. Could be
Oh
wrong
yeah, of
though.
course, yeah. I mean, she's probably a few hundred years old, isn't she?
Yeah, I think so. At least, yeah.
At least she's
But,
had a pretty kick-ass life, hasn't she?
mm,
You said that she was in the
I know.
comics before, and she follows Duke, and she's like, "It's not too late to change, bro. You know, obviously you'll have to face your crimes, and you'll get in trouble. But you know, I'm offering the handout, and obviously a lot of time it's the Sith saying, "Oh, I can give you this brilliant thing," but in this instance, the Jedi is saying, "Come on, you know, I can help you." Because most times Jedi are like, "Oh well, I don't need to offer my hand out because this person's a good person." So it's like when Mace was telling Anakin, "Don't listen to him," and then Palpatine said, "I can save the one you love," and then he's like, "Don't listen, Anakin," and it's like, Mace, you're not helping. Imagine if like the love of your life was going to die, and then the person who's saying that they can save them is getting electrocuted, and the other person is just saying, "Don't listen to them." What are you gonna? Like, May should at least say, "Look, let's
Hopefully.
talk. Let's talk about it, Anakin. I'll try and help you. We'll try and get on with this together as friends. Come on, we can get through this. You've got to help me kill this man. He's evil." But instead, he just says, "Don't listen to him." And it's like, well, no wonder Anakin chopped your hand off and you got bloody electrocuted and thrown out the window. God. I mean, the last couple of podcasts have been a lot of us just slagging off the Jedi and being like having a go at their stupidity. But yeah, anyway, Yaddle fights Dooku, and then Dooku crushes her with the door. And I think I mentioned did I mention to you on the other podcast? I think I did. How she got
Yeah,
crushed.
in the last one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. Yeah, I was like, how did she survive getting crushed? That doesn't
Mm.
make any sense. Like, surely there'd be loads of blood and everything. But because she's so small, I suggested maybe there was cracks in like the door that gave her space, but it
Yeah.
sort of crushed the body and hurt her. Basically, it hurt her enough for her to die afterwards, but it didn't like create a gory death. And then she lifted up the door, which was some brilliant imagery and animation. Palpatine was like, ugh! He couldn't stand the
Yeah.
light, and
The
Dooku was just staring at the light, and I feel like it was the writer's way of trying to say, no matter what these bad guys do, no matter how much darkness Dooku gets into, or no matter how much evil Palpatine puts in the universe, there'll always be some light shining at them, and the light of good coming at them. I was a bit baffled though why there was no investigation to Yaddle's death and why she went on her own. That's a bit odd. But there you go.
Yeah, unless that will be, there'll be something about that. I don't know, but yeah,
No.
we'll see.
And that's Count Dooku's heel turn. Another good episode.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
thoughts, Liam?
yeah. I was gonna
That's right.
say, definitely my favorite episode. I think in the show. Just love the music in this one, like the moody sort of atmospheric music, and even at the start, like because it takes place sort of during the Phantom Menace and just after, doesn't it? Which is interesting because like at the start, Dooku's in the archives, isn't he? And he deletes
Oh yeah,
Kamino from the
wiping
archives.
Camino. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
So he's
that was
already
really
with
cool.
Palpatine at this point, I suppose. Like even though he's sort of still hasn't left the Jedi Order. And then he speaks to Qui-Gon, doesn't he? After Qui-Gon encounters Maul for the first time on Tatooine, and then, um, and then when Dooku's in the library, all of the younglings and whoever, and Jocasta who talks to Dooku, doesn't she, about how uh Qui-Gon thinks he's encountered the Sith Lord or something, how they all don't believe him and whatever, and and I think Dooku says to her um about about them lacking creativity these days or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, or imagination or something. Because he sees where Qui-Gon's coming from, and I suppose he probably believes him, and he's thinking, the Jedi they've become so blinded, I suppose, but by their own arrogance, and yeah, of course, yeah, finds out the Dooku dies, and like you said, there's that scene with the tree, and he's talking to Yaddle, and
Yeah.
with the music, and then us, of course, when you see Dooku fly away and you see Yaddle follow, I was thinking at that point,
She's done from.
oh damn, she's gonna follow Dooku to, and that'll lead her to Sidious as well, which is
Yeah.
interesting. And I thought, oh, this is how she's gonna die. Um, and of course, yeah, it was just interesting because then you see the work. It's actually called the Works, like the place where they, the part of Coruscant where they meet. For I don't know, yeah.
Right, so
Um,
that's so it's an inside joke. So wait, that grueling part of Coruscant where they meet at the end of Attack of the Clones, and in that episode, that's called the Works.
yeah,
Oh, that doesn't what?
it's because
I don't even. That's amazing, though. That is hilarious.
I don't know.
It is funny, but I don't get it.
Yeah, but
Are you
yeah, I
sure
don't
this
know
isn't
whether
just
it's
something
like
you've made up? Are you sure this wasn't a
no, no, no,
dream
no.
or something, or you
It's
were
not.
reading
No,
a book?
definitely. I knew about this way before. Way
Oh,
before. Um, but yeah. Anyway, it's just interesting to see that again and see Dooku and Sidious, and I think Ian McDermott came back to voice Sidious as well. He sounded
hey,
good.
that's brilliant.
Um,
Do it.
yeah, and then and then of course Yaddle showed up. Yeah, we had a decent lightsaber duel, and but clearly Yaddle's not doesn't compare to Yoda, and Dooku
Yeah,
pretty much had the upper hand. And
just because you've got ears like Yoda doesn't mean you're going to be as skilled as him with the blade.
yeah, yeah. Um, but I thought it was interesting as well. I think initially when I was watching it, I kind of thought initially it kind of shocked me when he just like pulled the door down and it crushed her,
Yeah,
and then she pulled it back up, uh, and or pushed it back up, and it was and she was still alive, and then. But yeah, but she didn't have much life left in her, and then Dooku actually killed, and I was at the time I was actually didn't know whether I sort of agreed with that or whatever. I know Dooku's got to turn to the dark side and whatever, and there's got to be a reason
I thought she
and
was
whatever.
already. I thought she just fell over and died. What did Dooku slice her
No, no.
then?
Yeah, yeah. So she sort of fell, I think, from where she was standing, like where the door would uh close, and she sort of yeah, I think she sort of, but she was like very weakened at that point, and or very weak. She was weakened and fell, and then she was just lying on the ground, really helpless, and then Dooku killed her.
No,
Yeah, so that was quite dark, but and I was kind of I didn't know how I felt about that and the fact that Dooku would do that, but of course Sidious was there, and you know
he was
I
telling him to
guess
do it. So
yeah, he was in that situation where he sort of had to do it, otherwise, you know,
well, Sidious would
otherwise
have
like
tickled him to death.
Yeah, he might have turned on Sidious might have turned on him or whatever, or like
It is hilarious how it's all for nothing, though. Like, I know, being evil is all for nothing anyway in general, but like people who are evil, it is just all for stupidness and nothing really. But in Star Wars, for Dooku, it ends up all being for nothing because like Sidious just turns on him and throws him under the bus for Anakin. So
yeah, yeah.
Dooku is so loyal to Sidious's plan, and then he's like, do it, and then dead.
Yeah, but
But the thing is,
yeah.
Sidious. I was just going
Yep.
to say quickly, Sidious uses Dooku's fears and worries against him. He's seen how corrupt the senators are and feels bad for the people. So Sidious lures him in. He's like, "Oh, I get where you're coming from, bro. We've got a plan. We'll get this shit done." And then the more Dooku gets sucked in, the more he just becomes evil. Instead it becomes more about like power and the dark side over trying to do something right for the people.
Sort of, yeah. I don't think he becomes like a full-on Sith, but who sort of like embraces the dark side and like say like Maul did and Sidious does and Vader did.
I
Well,
mean, I guess he's not as
Vader,
evil as those guys, but he's still pretty evil.
yeah, and really when you look at stuff in canon as well, he has done a lot of like terrible things really as a Sith. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess that's all there is to say about the episode, really. But yeah, I really, like I say, really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's a great episode, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Great one as well. Barrels of fun.
Hmm.
Then we move on to Resolve. Ahsoka goes to Padme's funeral, which is cool. She
Mm.
talks to bloody what's his name? Admiral.
Now,
Ah,
Bail Organa.
that's it. Yeah. So she talks to him, and then the clones are like, "Sir, you shouldn't be around here." And then he's like, "Oh, sorry about that, lads," and then walks off. Ahsoka's a farm girl. She's doing the farming and helping out. And this old bloke, he's like, "Oh, the Imperials are bad." And this young bloke, he's been brainwashed, and he's like, "Oh no, they're brilliant, they're brilliant, they're brilliant." And then this Inquisitor, well, there's more to it than that. Obviously, Ahsoka saves somebody's life, and it's just in an age to be good. But it's sad how that good thing she does basically gets the whole village torched. And I'm assuming a lot of people killed, even though it's not outright mentioned. It's safe to assume that that gets a lot of people killed. The whole village burnt. You know what's mad? After Ahsoka kills the Clancy Brown Inquisitor, um, which he did an amazing performance, by the way, always shows up when it comes to acting or voice acting and on-screen acting.
Mm.
Clancy Brown's sick man. I think his best performance is obviously Mr. Krabs and Baron Praxis from Jack 2.
Mm.
Oh, well, I haven't spoiled anything by saying Praxis' name, so yeah. Yeah, I think those are amazing performances. And he does a great job with this Inquisitor, even though he doesn't have a lot of lines. He does, he's very menacing and evil. Soka
Mm.
does sort of mug him off, though. Like, she has no lightsaber, yet she just dodges everything, disarms him, and kills him. It's like, oh, okay. But I
Yeah,
guess
I
he's
did.
threatening still.
Yeah, initially I thought that was a bit quick and easy, but I don't know. I guess she's sort of. I guess like people have said, I suppose she's been trained by Anakin, and she's. I guess it shows how far she's come. I suppose how powerful she's became, and um, yeah, and she did like a. I think did she use the Force to like deactivate his lightsaber as well? The Inquisitor's
Not
lightsaber, I
sure.
think. I think she did.
I'll
Yeah,
take your word.
yeah. I think she did that, and she was able to take it off him and kill him with it. So yeah, um, yeah. I thought he had a cool. He had a cool design as well. The Inquisitor.
Yeah. I thought he was the Darth Revan from the Old Republic or something, or not to the Old Republic. I thought, how would he still be alive hundreds of years later?
No.
How would he? For a split second, I did think it was him,
Uh,
but um,
nah.
but yeah, we actually missed out. I actually missed out one episode, so we'll go back to that in a second. But there ain't a lot to say about Resolve. It was just cool. Bail, Ahsoka, she can't help but help people. The episodes that include her add to her character. The episodes that include Dooku add to his character. Overall, I'd say this episode was very good. But yeah, now on to Practice Makes Perfect, the episode before. I'd say it's above average overall. It's just sort of like Ahsoka showing off her moves. Obviously, Obi-Wan actually does look like Obi-Wan in this one with his long hair. Like, he looks like him in the Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Anakin's like, mate, you've got to fucking train proper, The Jedi want you to do this, but I'm training you for real. and then the clones are just all shooting her, and she keeps. I don't know if what's her species called again?
Togruta.
So yeah, I don't know how tough the Togruta brain is and the Togruta head is. However, surely taking concussion after concussion after concussion is going to leave some serious damage. Like she keeps getting stunned and knocked out. Like surely she banged her head
Yeah,
on the floor a
maybe.
few times. Like
Yeah,
that
I guess
can't be good for the brain.
there's probably like in universe reasons. I imagine like maybe a species as well, and maybe like the stun blasters are like I don't know,
Maybe it's
like
more of
very
a
weak or something. I don't know.
yeah. Maybe the stun blasters are more of a what's it called? Like I don't know. Like it just knocks you out and there's not much damage done. It just sort of like shuts your body down. But she was out
Yeah,
for an
yeah.
hour, so that is bad damage. She said, "How long was I out? An
Oh yeah,
hour."
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
that can't be good. That's not a good sign at all. That's who gets knocked
Uh,
out for an hour. Like
naughty Anakin,
Tyson,
naughty
if
Anakin.
Mike Tyson, all the heavyweights, Mike Tyson's knocked out. They're not knocked out for an hour. Everyone would be scared to death if they'd think they were dead. You know what I'm saying? So like Ahsoka being knocked out for an hour, it's like, but that's probably as you said. There's probably some in-universe reason. And her
Mm.
species, the Tor, what are they called again?
Togruta.
Yeah, the Togrutas, they probably can take it somehow. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, that episode was above average. I mean, it was the best bit of it was the ending where Rex is like, "All right, then hopefully that practice makes perfect," and then they walk off. That was pretty cool. Everything else I'd say was just above average. It was just Anakin, being strict and showing his different methods of training compared to the rest of the Jedi. And a lot of those Jedi are unorthodox in a lot of ways, like Dooku trained Qui-Gon, who trained Obi-Wan, and they all disobeyed the Jedi Order in some way. Because Obi-Wan, I know he probably, he follows the rules quite a bit, but like he trained Anakin because Qui-Gon wanted him to. The Council didn't want Anakin to be trained, and then Anakin trained Ahsoka, and Ahsoka left the Jedi Order. So there's a lot of rebellious stuff. And Luke Skywalker, he disobeyed. I know he's not Ahsoka's apprentice or anything, but he's sort of in there sort of, and he like disobeyed all the rules because Uncle Owen said, "I need you for the harvest," and then Luke's like, "But Uncle Owen, I want to go and fight." And then obviously, if he had stayed behind, well, he'd be dead, wouldn't he? He would have been burnt to a crisp. But
Maybe.
can you believe how brutal those stormtroopers were, though, killing
I
Uncle
know
Owen
it's crazy, really. I think
properly
that's
like that?
like really dark because you see actually you see like their skeletons, don't you? Really,
Yeah.
like this is meant to be like a well, it's meant to be a kids' film, isn't it?
And
You
it's
know,
like
and you
imagine being a
see
kid
that.
and seeing
I mean, I know
burnt
it's an old
skeleton.
film, but and it's like the shot is sort of like it's sort of like a mid to long shot, but yeah, I know it's like it's really dark, to be honest.
Definitely
Yeah,
scary,
like they've
man.
actually they absolutely burnt to a crisp. They were God,
God,
absolutely incinerated.
jeez.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, have you got anything you want to say about the episode before we wrap up?
it was enjoyable. Yeah, it was good to see Anakin training Ahsoka, and I think it sort of it shows how Ahsoka was so effective during the Clone Wars in battles, and and I guess how she was able to take on so many battle droids, I guess, and deflect all the blaster bolts, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because of course she was training against clones who are superior to battle droids.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and then yeah, it was a nice sort of tie into the Series 7 Clone Wars Series 7 finale at the end, yeah, with talking to Rex and saying yeah, I hope uh, something about the training, yeah, about I hope the training was worth it or something like that. I don't know, yeah. And then of course she walks out to into the like the sort of docking bay or whatever of the Republic frigate, doesn't she? Yeah, and that's where all the clone troopers are, isn't it? And where is it? Jesse is as well, one of the clones. and then yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, that was a nice end to the episode. So I'd say it's probably like I don't know, probably like a decent / good episode, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd say it was above average.
Mm.
But we can wrap up there. Oh yeah, I need to give my score. 6 episodes, short series, done well overall. Consistent, nice animation, nice stories. We know a lot about Ahsoka, but it adds a bit more to her character. We don't know as much about Dooku, so I was really, chuffed with the Dooku stuff. Hopefully they do a series 2 and maybe do it about some different Jedi and see how that goes. Overall, I'll probably give it 8.5 out of 10, 85% out of 100. Really good.
Mm. Yeah, I'd probably give it. Yeah, actually, I think I'll give it the same. Yeah, 8.5 out of 10. Yeah. I just wanted to say as well about was it episode 5 where, or was it episode 6, which is the last episode where Ahsoka's at Padme's funeral? I thought it was just nice to see that again, but in animation.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course that was during Revenge of the Sith at the end, and I think initially when I was watching the episode, I was thinking that like I kind of in a way I didn't know how to feel about Ahsoka being at the funeral, but
There's a lot
it's
of
just one of
characters there.
those things. Like, yeah, there are a lot of people there, and like, I guess it's a nice touch. So,
Liam,
that
I
was
was
cool.
actually an extra in Revenge of the Sith.
Hmm.
No,
Were you?
serious, I actually
Were
was.
you one of the younglings? Were you?
Yeah, genuinely, I actually was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think?
Wow. I mean, that's quite something. I mean,
Yeah.
very young then.
I was right at the back, hiding behind the chair with a mustache. I had a mustache. I was like, Master Skywalker, no! I had a deep voice when I was 5. I was like, no! And then he sliced me to bits. So that was a deleted scene.
Yeah, it did eat it, of course. Yeah.
If you look at the background when that kid's going, Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? If you look really close, there is a kid with a mustache, and it actually is me. I've just never told you till now because I want you to watch that scene and see the 5-year-old with the mustache and see that it's me.
Oh wow! So that was the secret beginning of your acting career.
Yeah, I was also in Harry Potter as well in 2010. So that was really good. I played
So
basically
Deathly Hallows Part 1 then.
no 2.
That's
It was
2011
filmed
then.
in 2010, and
Okay, yeah,
basically,
Oh.
I was running through the school and I just got shot. If you look at basically, I wasn't killed. I wasn't killed by a abracadabra. I just got shot. I just got shot.
Imagine that though, if like they just had a big
Everyone getting
battle with like...
abracadabra and then some kid just gets shot.
Yeah.
Ah!
They just have like one side just full of wizards with wands, and the other's just filled with people with guns. Oh god.
Voldemort, he was a crafty geezer. Even if he was too shit to take over a school, he was still crafty, wasn't he? So,
God.
No, imagine if I was in those films. That would be legendary, man. To be fair, years ago, I did sort of think of becoming, wanting to try to get into acting, but I thought to myself in the long run, like, man, like, where you have to go to be a good actor, London, California, Bollywood. I don't know what Bollywood's like, if that's nice or not, but London and California, horrible places, safety-wise. I guess Cardiff's all right. Well, Cardiff, see, when I went there, it's really nice. I've heard some stuff about crime being really bad there recently, but when I went there, I thought it was absolutely amazing. So if I was going to go somewhere, I'd go to Cardiff or Liverpool and try and act. But again, if you want to be the next Leonardo DiCaprio, you've got to go to Los Angeles. But it's just not for me. Too dangerous, man. There. I mean, celebrities get their cars robbed. Seth Rogen got his car robbed, and he was like, no, someone was complaining about getting their car robbed and saying how shit Cali is and how shit Los Angeles is. And he's like, oh, well, it's just all part of living in a big city. And it's like, Seth, you're full of bollocks, mate. The thing is, the only reason he's not worried about getting his car bloody stolen is because he can afford 50 million cars. That's why. If he was a regular bloke, he'd be fuming. If he was a bloke driving a 4K and the K got smashed and robbed, he wouldn't be saying, oh, it's all just part of living in a big city. No, he'd be fucking fuming. He'd be like, are you mad? he'd be going mental. So it's just typical elitist celebrities trying to lecture people on how to live. I said this to Aaron on a podcast ages ago. I think it was a summer special. If ALP ever got big, I will never become like them. I will never. I'm not saying all celebs are bad. There are some celebs who are down to it, but I'd be like Johnny Rotten. I'm always on the side of the people at the end of the day. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life or what to do with your money. I'm just going to tell you sort of how I feel and what have you. Yeah, because a lot of these YouTube celebs, they do try and enforce how they feel on other people, and I don't mind it a bit, but it's like you millionaires who've never had a real job. Like, what do you know? And then they have a go at regular people for making mistakes, but yet when they make a mistake, it's like, oh, don't cancel me. I didn't mean to. Apology. It's just like, just because you're an entertainer doesn't mean that people should treat you any better or worse. If you make a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. But who knows? I did also say to Aaron, I think it was on the summer special, I did also say, like, look, but if I ever did become famous, I don't know, I don't know how I would feel. Maybe I'd feel brilliant, maybe I feel bad. But like over the years, things have happened and I've become more of a humble guy. And if I'd become famous at 17, I probably would have gone ballistic and mental and absolutely off my head. But I feel like if somehow the podcast blew up and whatever, or I just became successful at something, I probably would. I'd like to think that I would be quite a level-headed guy for the most part. But yeah, how do you think you'd cope with fame if the gaming channel blew up? If you became the next Axeman?
I'd like to think that I'd cope with it pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I mean, I'd like to think that I wouldn't change as a person.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fair, King. Fair. Well, we'll end that one there. Should be a podcast on Sunday. No promises, obviously, because anything can happen. But the George's Doctor Who spectacular, and then the week after is hopefully the Christmas special 2022. You hyped for that, Liam? Your game,
Yeah. Definitely doing this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some interesting stuff planned. I was going to make a big intro about you and George going on an adventure, but I'll probably have to shorten that down by a lot. Yeah, but
interesting.
I might just have it as a fartist clue instead, or a small intro. But yeah, we'll.
Okay.
I'm just picturing the mad intro I had in store, but I'm going to shorten it. But I'm picturing this mad intro still, and I'm just picturing Aaron laughing his arse off, and then you're just there like, just like very casual about it. But yeah. Hopefully, when we do another Liam Takes Over, eventually you'll have a big intro for that one.
Maybe, yeah. I just wasn't able to think of anything for the last one.
Yeah, because the first one you did was really really subverting my expectations. Because for fuck's sake!
I thought you did that intentionally.
No, genuinely not.
And James has died.
You wish, motherfucker!
Oh.
You wanted to take my place on the podcast, Liam. That's what you were hoping. That's what you were gunning for.
Yes.
This is the gaming channel, and I am now the co-host. Thank you. That is all.
Yeah.
But what the hell was I even saying before I knocked the light out?
I'm trying to. What are you saying? Oh God, I'm trying to remember.
Oh God, I can't remember myself.
You were on about. Well, I was on about. Oh, that's it. That was it. I was saying about how you were saying about my intro I did for my first
yeah. Yeah, I remember now what I was going to say. So basically, I was going to because like that intro, I was basically like, oh shit, because it was me, George, and Aaron just then mocking you. I thought Liam was actually watching. Why didn't he say anything or comment like, no? I was like, oh no, I didn't think you'd be watching.
No, I
But
wasn't
obviously,
watching it. I wasn't actually watching it live. It was when I watched it after.
okay, when I was like going on about Ewan McGregor's bum hair.
No. Like I said, I wasn't like it wasn't like I was watching live, so I could have said something in the chat.
What would have you said if I was if you were there?
I don't know. I might have said something. I don't know.
Liam here.
I might have just made something, some insult about you.
Okay, fair enough. Liam here. This joke is not big or clever. You idiot. That is all. Unsubscribe. I remember on one of the Barnacle streams, you actually, because I didn't really know much about you apart from you were commenting on his live streams at the time, and you actually had a go at this one bloke and went on a massive tangent and called him a pancake face at the end. The bloke you had a go at had it coming. Even though I was friends with him at the time, he's just a toxic bloke, and overall, I haven't had anything to do with him for years, but he was just an idiot overall. So it was quite funny that you bloody had a go at him.
Oh yeah, because his profile picture was Nien Num, wasn't it, or whatever? Him from Return of the Jedi. Yeah, Nien Num, whatever. Yeah,
classic. Any closing statements before we end, then, big man?
Not really, no.
All right then. Well, I'm on a new function at work tomorrow, and it's going to be absolutely dreadful. But you've got to take these calls. You've got to get this shit done at the end of the day. That's all I've got to say. Wish me luck for tomorrow. See you on the next few pods, most probably, and have a good one. Check out the gaming channel, and see you later.
See ya.
Yes. No, that is all.